Like, what is artificial intelligence? We bucket it into three things. They're really practical, and we'll give you practical examples of it today. There's natural language processing. So you think of that, how many people in the room own Amazon Echo with Alexa or Google Home, or maybe you decide to buy the Apple HomePod that's coming out. So, probably half the room, right? So think of that. That's natural language. That is AI. That is you talking to a device, you talking to Siri on your phone, and it giving an intelligent response back. That's a form of artificial intelligence. Then you've got machine learning, and Amazon has been doing this better than anybody forever. Giving things like product recommendations based on deep history in terms of who you are, what you've done across the site, what you bought before, how much of something you bought before. And then there's deep learning. This is applied in many ways, but the easiest way to think about it is what people like Facebook are doing with facial recognition. Others are doing similar things, or people doing that with image insights with their creatives in advertising. So you've got these three buckets. So this is what real artificial intelligence is, practical things that you can do today. But when you think of it in the context of advertising, we like to think of it in terms of a longer evolution about what it applied to and why we're at this point today. So we talk about the Industrial Revolution. The advertising evolution started in the 15th century. You've got print. In the first half of the 20th century, you've got the broadcast era, radio and television. Then you've got the digital era, search, social, display, video. And really at that point is really all the channels that we essentially spend money on today as any given brand, depending on what sector we're in, how big or small we are, what region we're in. We might offer more in one area or another. But broadly speaking, that is advertising today. They are the channels. But three important other things have happened since YouTube in 2005. Amazon Web Services launched in 2006. And that really is the pioneer for when bigger data happened. I think most of you, many of you probably work at early stage or middle stage companies. So many of them are built on AWS or built on Google's cloud platform or Microsoft Azure. But really it's the idea that bigger data can scale and it's more cost effective than it ever was before. It also means that brands can collect more data without having to build big data centers themselves. Then in 2007, the iPhone launched, and it's not just the launch of what we consider the modern mobile era, it's also the modern cross-device era that then gave rise to IoT. It's not that we just spend all our time on our phones, that we spend our time across devices, and other devices that weren't connected before are now connected. The other one that people often forget, and this is very, very important as it relates to advertising and then as it relates to AI and applying data, is the 2008-9 launches of the App Store and Google Play and the launch of Google Chrome's browser in 2008. What they marked is a change in behavior within those digital devices, in that we spend most of our time in apps. So it's not that we've gone from using Internet Explorer and Safari on our desktop and using the same thing on our phones. We've now switched to it and using apps instead of the mobile web, and to a great degree, and we'll show you that in a second. In terms of Google Chrome, the browser, that changed. If you look at consumer behavior stats that ComScore and others put out, that's sort of the mark where we started changing. I mean, I'm sure most of you, with your computers at home or computers at work, you probably simultaneously have Safari, Firefox, Chrome, or Internet Explorer, depending on what browsers you use, open. And for different sessions, you're doing different things. Maybe your personal stuff's in one browser, your work stuff's in another. And of course, we all know as an advertiser, this is a challenge. We're different identifiers across browsers. We're different identifiers across browsers and apps. We're different identifiers across devices, browsers, and apps. And this is where artificial intelligence starts to have a practical role that it can play in connecting all those things together.